All right. My name is Adam Tipre. I'm a Key Accounts Manager here at Anajet. This webinar is going to be covering achieving more with our mPower I-Series Digital Apparel Printer. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, and there's an outline that we'll go through in just this next slide or two. I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions. There is a question and answer section at the very end of this. I'm going to try not to be too long-winded. I know we all have things we have to do. But we'll just try to get through this as quickly as we can. If you do have questions, please save them till the very end, and I'll make sure I knock them all out. So here's what we'll cover. First and foremost, we'll talk about the industry itself and the market that's out there. We'll discuss some of the challenges and business advantages that we see from internal polls with our customers, from people that call in, some specific markets to go after. Then we'll go into the mPower, and then the new mPower I-Series, which has some new advances. Talk a little bit about the Sprint, break down the dollars and cents of it all, a couple success stories from our customers, and then, like I said, that Q&A session. So feel free, like I said, to write down your questions, write them in, and I'll make sure I get to them at the very end. So why direct-to-garment printing? Well, just like anything else in this world, whether it be a cell phone, whether it be cameras, digital is kind of the next step. It's the future of printing. It's the future of photographs. It's the future of phones. It's really everything has gone digital. Now even our TVs are digitally streamed and not analog through antennas. And it's just really the next step. You can look at it from every aspect of your life. To the computer that you're looking at right now is all a digital representation of that screen, and that's essentially what garment printing is. It's the digital part of screen printing, essentially. The old way of doing it, using screens and ink, is kind of fallen by the wayside, and digital printing is taking up where it left off. And with digital printing, you have a lot of advantages. A lot of advantages that that the old method didn't have, and we'll cover some of those. But basically, it's an idea for anybody, any type of business, any promotional products or retail or screen print or embroidery, to start really diversifying what they offer. There's a bigger need for it. People want more elaborate colors, more elaborate designs. They don't need huge orders. And let's be honest, those huge orders that people are doing anyway is so competitive out there for those 1,000, 5,000 short orders that people are constantly undercutting it. Which leads me to my next one, which was just a continuous pricing pressure on all products and service offerings. Well, digital printing gives you an opportunity to separate yourself, which we'll cover, and take away, that guy that wants that 1-2 color design now can get a multicolor design maybe for the same price, or you can upcharge it for him. There's also an increased competition through our web, social media. We're not as small as we used to be, right? We're more connected. They say the world is getting smaller. It's through the internet, and you have to have a dominant internet presence, which we can help you out with. It's just part of, at the very end, this slide that we're going to cover. Basically, the internet's a giant mall, and you need to have a store in it, because somebody from California can order something from New York, and somebody from Georgia can order something from Wyoming. It's as simple as that, and it's not anything other than if it's exactly what they want. We're a culture of convenience, right? And because that's where the money is, that's what we hear, where all the money in this industry is going. You take a look at just the garment decoration industry as a whole, whether it's embroidery, screen printing, and direct-to-garment printing and the like. Every penny is being invested into direct-to-garment printing. It's the future of the industry. So you personally, why should you get in? Well, right now the garment decoration industry is, in the United States, is $44 billion. Okay, garment printing, which includes screen printing, is a $23 billion industry. Right now, it's about a 95% screen printing industry, so we're still at the precipice. We're at the cusp of it actually being something that is still emerging technology, still getting its feet wet, so to speak, in the industry. And the growth that we've seen, it's not anything other than what every consumer out there has seen, every manufacturer out there has seen. Anajet itself has had over 35% growth year over year for the last 5 years. Why? That's a direct reflection of the market. Why are we growing and screen printing is dropping off? And we're slowly taking over a bigger and bigger and bigger percentage of it. Think about if any of you have ever been into any trade shows over the last, say, 5 years ago versus this, in this last year. How many more garment printers are there? How many more opportunities for this type of technology are there out there? I'm not pushing it directly to these garment printers, but I think it's important to understand that this is the future of this industry. Okay, so here's what we see. We do a lot of surveys. We do a lot of questionnaires, customers, prospects, people that are looking to get into the garment industry, and I would bet anybody that's on this call right now could sit here and look at one of these bullet points and identify that one of those is probably the reason why they're looking into this in the first place. They're looking at it from a production side, can be a costly investment. Anything that can do high amounts of screen printing, embroidery, whatever it might be, not only takes up a lot of space, which is costly, but the equipment itself can be costly. The older technology that's out there requires a bigger learning curve. If anybody here that is screen printed, that's on this call, how long did it take you to truly master, say, a 4-color process? Are you doing a 4-color process? Are you working with layers and even maybe only having 3 colors in a design and setting it up and registering it perfectly? Dealing with all the emulsions, things like that. There's a very large learning curve to doing screen printing. Now, there is a learning curve to direct-to-garment printing. Let's not fool ourselves. But it's substantially easier to stop, get in front of a printer and hit print than it is to set up a screen print that can take a little bit of time. We also hear that all of the smaller jobs are low margins, or that they don't even want to do them because they're so low to zero margins that they're pushing them out. And that's just a product of what's out there. I mean, screen printing can't, well, they can, but they can't do it profitably. They can't do 5 shirts profitably, especially if it's multicolor. Whereas with direct garment printing, whether it's 1 shirt, 1,000 shirts, your cost is the same. There's a continuous need to attract new clients. It's locking in that repeat buyer, and I'm going to put those two kind of together. You want to go out and get new clients. Well, how do you go out and get new clients? Well, you open up what you can offer. It's no longer just 1, 2, 3, 4 colors that you can do, and you can do anywhere from 25 to thousands, right? Now you can do 1 million colors. Now you can do 1 shirt at a time. Now you can customize each individual shirt. Now you can print on a wider variety of fabrics. Now you can have a softer feel. Now you're using water-based ink, which is more eco-friendly, which opens up opportunities for doing children's clothes. There's a lot of different things that direct-to-garment printing gives you that screen printing kind of limits you at, which brings back a competitive edge to increase the customers that come back. We call it lock in those repeat buyers, customer service quotient. How many people go get their jobs done with you and end up coming back? Well, if you're good at what you do, good salesperson, whatever it might be, you're probably getting a good amount back. But if you could offer your customers, you do your typical job for them, but then you say, hey, by the way, just so that you're aware, I can also personally customize each individual shirt. So if you have anybody in the future that needs to do that, come on back and I'll make sure I get it done for you. Or, hey, next time on your next order, don't worry about how many colors there are. I can do up to 1 million with no hesitation. That will get those customers to come back in. And then lead times, ship times prevent fast fulfillment. Why even bother? So this we hear a lot from our promotional products distributors who have a couple different screen printers, embroiderers, whoever they might be that do their business. Their actual product development of it, and they can't, they're waiting 1-2 weeks to do, to get their order done. You doing it yourself, depending on the printer that you're looking at, if I wanted to do 20 shirts, I could have it done in as little as 15 minutes all the way up to, an hour. That's pretty powerful. And the main solutions, like I said, covered a little bit in the previous slide. Durable, high-volume, direct-to-garment printer get you what you need. It's easier to learn for all different product lines, not just T-shirts and sweatshirts and things like that, but we've also been able to print on canvas and wood and metal and mouse pads and beer koozies and all sorts of different substrates that you can lay flat on the platen, and there's a section towards the end of this that'll kind of cover that. There's also a predictable profit margin. It's no longer how many you, depending on how many you do, will affect the price. I mean, let's call it what it is. Whether if I'm doing a light colored print on a white shirt, right, I'm looking at maybe 15, 20 cents worth of ink, conservatively. I mean, that's on the high side probably. 15, 20 cents worth of ink. Now, that could be a one-color design, or it could be a million colors. And my cost is still the same. It's all based off image size now. So if somebody comes in and wants one shirt, you can pick up $1.75 for a white shirt, maybe $2 for a good one, put 15 cents worth of ink on it, and be done. And it took you all of a minute to produce. You can attract all different types of new businesses with samples, put their logos, campaign images onto a shirt. Now, I want to stop here for just a second because I want to point out something that a customer told me that I thought was one of the best ideas I ever heard from a marketing standpoint. We're going to talk a little bit about marketing more in the future, but this is, I think, really huge. Sample shirts are the equivalent of you going to buy a new car and the salesman wanting you to test drive it immediately. It's the first thing they do. And why do they do that? Because it's the visceral feel of getting behind the wheel. It's the idea of putting that person in a position to where they have the control of the automobile, where they can see themselves driving it. Sample shirts are the same way. I had a customer tell me, he came to my trade show. I asked him how he did. He said he paid off his machine in the first 90 days. I was like, how? How did you pay off your machine in the first 90 days? And he said it was real simple. Every week he identified 20 companies. There's a list of them later on in this slide, and I'll be happy to send it to all of you. That are the hottest industries that you should go after. But he basically went after any bar, restaurant, police department, fire department, school, things like that. And he took a sample shirt, and on that sample shirt he printed something seasonal. So we're in, Halloween's right around the corner, so maybe he printed a pumpkin, right? But right below it he put unlimited colors, no setup fee, 24-hour turnaround time, no minimum order. What he did was he highlighted the 4 things that separates himself from a screen printer. There's more, but the 4 big ones, right? He can do a million different colors if he wants. Screen printers can't. He can do no minimum order. You want one shirt, he can do one shirt. Screen printers won't do it. He can have 24-hour turnaround times. You guys all know that that's not the case with screen printing. He can customize and do each shirt individually if you want. Screen printer's not going to do that. And he took these 20 shirts and he passed them out to each, and he did this once a week. He passed them out to each business. Walked up and just tried a little sales pitch. And he said that, maybe he'd get 1 or 2 orders right off the bat, but for the most part he wasn't picking up anything. He was just, here's my information, here's my shirts that I can do, and he put his website and, his contact information on the shirt as well, and just passed them out. And he did that every week for the first 90 days. And he said by the end of the first month, he started getting calls. And he was bringing in enough business. And by the end of the 90 days, he paid for his machine. And he said the secret to this success, the secret to all of this, is that nobody throws away a shirt. And he put it to me like this. He said, Adam, we were at a trade show and we were discussing this. He said, Adam, if you have a business card and you hand it out to me, say you hand it out to every person that walks by here, hundreds of people, you'd like to think that everybody is going to keep your business card. But the reality is they end up on your desk, they fall down in between the seats of your car, they end up in the trash, unfortunately. They're just Business cards are easy to lose, but nobody throws away a shirt. Nobody throws away a shirt. So it's a business card showing what you can do. And what's truly the cost? Like I said before, he's $1.75, maybe $2 in with the shirt, 15, 20 cents worth of ink on it. So if he did 20 different companies, what's his total marketing budget per week? $45. He said he did it so much that not only did he keep some clients coming back, but after that first 90 days, he stopped marketing, paid off his machine, and it kept him busy the rest of the year. Now, he could have ramped it up, but he was a small one-man shop, and he was getting a little bit overwhelmed. But this was, I thought, was an amazing idea because it put the product in the customer's hands. And because it's so inexpensive to produce that product, it gives you a competitive edge, not only to highlight what you can do versus your competitors, but also, you think screen printers are doing that? To go out and get business? No, they're handing out flyers. But what happens with flyers? Same thing that happens with business cards. They get lost in the, in the trash or on a desk. But nobody will throw away a shirt. It'll end up in their dresser, maybe in their rag bag, in their closet, somewhere. And anytime they need something, they're going to remember, oh, I got that shirt. I thought it was a great idea. So keep that in mind when you have your printer. Would highly recommend the first thing you do is print out 20 shirts that are seasonal and identify 20 different companies and drop them off and do it once a week. And I'll bet anything within the first 90 days you pick up enough business to pay for your machine. So getting back to this, there's near zero turnaround time and personalization, like we discussed. Eliminate the lead time, ship times, and middlemen from the equation. That's especially for all you promotional products people or people that are outsourcing. Why outsource your profits when you can bring it in-house? So let's talk about operational advantages, just garment printing as a whole. First off, they're pretty easy to learn, use, and operate, and many startups use them. And one of the things that Anajet does, and we're really proud of it, and we push it almost to nauseam in a lot of ways, is we really push our operators to go through our training, whether it's here or on site. And we really push them to utilize our free lifetime technical support because although it is easy to learn compared to other ways of garment decoration, there is a learning curve, and you need to be guided down the right path. So take advantage of the tools that Anajet gives you. There's a minimal footprint in your office, garage, shop, van. You don't need the Sprint is 3 feet by 3 feet. The mPower is 4 feet by 4 feet. You can easily, if you have a head start, if you have a customer base with the graphics and logos already stored, that's one of the big ones because, again, remember the graphics, it isn't like screen printing. It doesn't, it's not like embroidery where it have to be vectored and or have a bunch of layers. You can legitimately take an image right off the internet, and as long as it's high enough resolution, print it right onto your shirt. Differentiate your business. You heard me what I said. Sample shirts with every order. 3 costs per lead. As little as 90 days to pay off per our customers, not a pie in the sky type mentality. That legitimately happens with a vast majority of our customers. But use the ideas that we give you. Use the tools and things that we give you because that'll be the way that you'll be able to determine the best thing for you. So we put this slide in because we're not sure if everybody is aware or what people's thoughts are on, the direct garment printer industry as a whole, how we compare to our competitors. Anajet has been lucky enough to be led by some really great people and pushed in the right direction and been heavily invested in, and it's proven to help help our customers out. And because of that, we've actually gotten to a point now where we have a 45% market share across the world. And just in North America, we have a 60% market share. So for every 10 printers that are sold in North America, 6 of them are Anajet. Now, this is not from us. This is from a third-party independent firm called itstrategies.com. They put out there, and you can actually check out their website. The link is kind of below there. But they estimate that we have a 60% market share. We got to that position because obviously we have good, durable, useful printers, but at the same time we have the service, training, and support to back it up. Okay, for all you commercial printers out there, wide format, offset, people that are already in digital printing, you guys, out of all, will probably have the easiest transition because you already understand the digital printing side of things. The ink technology is very similar to what you're currently doing with very similar maintenance needs. And we'll discuss maintenance in a little bit here. There's also a similar RIP software, so you'll have a good understanding of how that works, and you'll have a fast learning curve. Your market will be similar for all the signs and vinyl you guys might be doing. Demand for a faster turnaround time, one-stop shop, avoid outsourcing. How many times have you guys gotten to a point where a customer comes in and asks if you do shirts as well? Can't afford to turn away any business, right? I mean, who wants to send somebody else down the road? I had a customer that bought a printer solely for the fact that the guy that he used to outsource his T-shirt printing to had just bought a wide format printer, and anytime he was sending customers that way, they were stopping there and getting all their sign work done as well, and he was stealing their business. There's a high customization and personalization aspect, which you get, and you understand the the concept of one print and one cost, and what you're not outsourcing it gives you obviously fatter margins. So how about screen printers and embroiderers? If you guys have been aware, think about the last, if you're new to this, think about the last year. If you've been in it for a while, think of the last 5, 10, 15 years. What customers' expectations are, how customers have come to you and wanted to get something a little bit different, maybe not as many shirts, maybe more colors, maybe gradient shades, things like that. Well, there's a market expectation out there because of organizations like Cafe Press, Zazzle, and things of that nature, where they want mass personalization. They want a market of one shirt at a time. And if you guys go on it, go on those websites. Upload your own graphic and see how much they're charging. Those companies charge $30 per shirt, and they're making these shirts for $2, $3 a piece. Now, where you guys can get it is a similar, easy transition for you because you understand the idea behind colors and garments and how that affects the color that you're laying on it. The idea behind creating an underbase to get the colors that you're looking for. How to modify any graphics that might need modifying because you've jumped into being able to digitize for all you embroiderers. For screen printers, though, really it's just this is the nuts and bolts. Stop saying no. Say yes to every order that walks in the door. Somebody wants one shirt, do it. Somebody wants 5 shirts, do it. No problem. Stop turning away business. Stop sending it elsewhere, and stop losing that business. Lock in those repeat customers. For you embroiderers, print a sample on demand, faster than a sew-out, no backing, no hooping, no assigning threads, no cutting, trimming, all the things that go along with it. Embroidery is an art. It's really cool. I like it, but it's the only segment of garment decoration that is actually declining. It's just dropping off. You know what gets embroidered these days? Hats. That's what gets embroidered. Everything else is digitally printed. You have 1 operator versus 2 or 3, which will reduce your overhead, reduce how much you spend on your operators. And then now that we have the mPower 10, it's fast enough to be able to do high volume, full color digital prints. For so long there was this stigma that garment printing was only really good for maybe 50 shirts and under. That's not the case anymore. The mPower 10 can print shirts in as little as 15, 20 seconds. So why wouldn't you want to do a couple hundred short order on that, 300, 400 short order? Now, promotional products, people. These are my favorite people because they're salespeople. They sell me every time they walk up to the booth when I see them. Instead of me trying to sell them a printer, they're selling me on why they need it or why they don't need it, and they're good at it. So for all you promotional products people, I give you a lot of credit. This is a good part about how this would transition for you. For one, first and foremost, it's easier for you. I mean, this is not rocket science. You use the training, take the time to figure out how it is. But then your customers want, what's the 3 things? Speed, customize, personalize, right? They want it as fast as possible. They don't want to have to wait. And the only way you're going to repeat, get those lock-in customers is if you deliver on goods like that, right? Like I said before, we're a culture of convenience. How quickly can I get it? Put it to you this way. If somebody wants 5 shirts printed and they come to you and you tell them it's going to be 2 weeks, what's going to stop them from ordering 5 shirts online, get the exact same thing, even if it's slightly more expensive? I mean, I'd do it. I mean, if I went to somebody and said, hey, I need 5 shirts printed, and they said, it's going to be a week, I would go online and print 5 shirts out from some online store, and even if it was $5, $10 more per shirt, I would do it. Why? Because I need it now. We're a culture of convenience. I don't want to have to mess with this. I don't want to have a huge list of a million things to do. I want to start checking things off that list. A lot of people do that. Customers are also seeking greater variety in products, colors, designs. So there's a lot of different things that you can look at, and your customers that'll they may want each shirt individually customized. They had a volleyball team. Customer picked up a high school, but did it with the volleyball team. She knew the head coach, and she told the head coach, if you go with me and your shirts, I'll match the order that your screen printer's doing, do the same print, but instead I'll put the name and number of each volleyball player on the front left chest of the shirt. That creates value. It creates value to your customer. And she matched the price that she was getting with the screen printer, and she ended up picking up the order, which opened up the rest of the school to her, which ended up becoming one of her biggest accounts. And unique advantages. You guys see, that's the beauty of it. You promote products, people. You already know how to sell. That's how you've had to survive already, right? You've had to be out there selling. The difference, though, from a nuts and bolts standpoint, instead of you being 25% margin, you could go up to 75. Either way, it's more. Instead of you charging, your customer $20 and your screen printer charging you $10 and you're making 10, why don't your screen printer charge you, or you do it yourself, have your cost be $2 to $3 and you still charge 20. Your margins jump significantly. And then eliminate all the lead times. And create those samples on demand. Use them as a sales tool. Instead of going out there and pounding the pavement for business with a flyer and brochure saying what you can accomplish and how you can get it all done, why not give them a free T-shirt? Use that tool as a way to bring in the business. Okay, extended media. This is kind of cool. So we got a few guys actually. But we got this thing called our applications department here at Anijad. These guys literally have the coolest job in the entire company. They get to play with the printers all the time. And they come up with new ways to print on different items, do different things to add more value to what you can offer your customers. They're essentially just there trying to figure out ways for you to make more money. And it's not just because we're nice people, right? I mean, the more success you have with the printer, the more business you do with the printer, the more ink you buy, the more printers you buy. So it's a win-win for everybody. So we put a lot of money towards this. Well, we've been able to print on metal, glass, wood. We've even had foil applications for all those that have seen it. You can thousands of different kinds of colored foil that you can apply to the shirt to give it a metallic look, which with a lot of people is very popular. You can do canvas, art prints, even hats. We've had some pretty cool experiments with actually creating 3D printing, which is pretty cool. That was a big rage back, about a year ago. All these things that are at your fingertips, and we can show you how to do it and expand what you can offer, essentially. Okay, addressable markets. I'm going to leave this here for a second so that you guys can write this down. That idea that I was telling you about where you had those 20 different companies, well, here's a list of industries that have been designated by SGIA as primary markets reported as steady or growing markets within the next 3 years. Okay? Basically, SGIA did a survey, did all their stats, and they found that these industries specifically are the ones that are buying shirts. So when you're looking at who do I go and market, who do I go after, these are the companies that you go after. retail stores, interior designers, corporate branding, government, ad agencies, manufacturing, nonprofits, athletic teams, schools, food services, healthcare, hospitality, exhibit manufacturers, transit, business to consumer. These are the top industries that you should be looking at. They're the ones that are spending money on the product. Okay? If you guys need me to email you this specific slide, I can. Just shoot me an email. It's atipre@anajet.com. It's atipre@anajet.com. Okay, the mPower. Let's talk about the mPower. The mPower is the fastest direct garment printer in the market. Time is money, right? The more you can get out, the faster you can do it, the less it costs you to produce. We have a rapid return on investment. All of our printers come with first-class technical support and training, free lifetime technical support, free lifetime software upgrades, free lifetime firmware upgrades. Anytime we make improvements to this printer, we send it out to you. And trust me, we're always working to improve the printer. It's kind of like anybody with an iPhone. You have new updates. They just had the new iOS 7 come out. But before that, they had iOS 6.1, iOS 6.2, iOS 6.3, and so on, with constant improvement of the cell phone. That's the way technology is today. We're constantly improving the printer. And anytime we do, we notify you, and you can immediately download it onto your unit. So you're never going to be out of date with this technology. You're constantly going to be in date as the technology progresses. So don't feel bad if you buy a printer and think, oh, 3 years something better is going to be coming out, because we're improving the printer as it moves, as we move forward. Endless possibilities with extended media, foil, 3D art, and the mPower and Anajet are the only direct-to-garment printers that are made, manufactured, serviced, engineered, all here in the U.S. So part of the additions and things that we do and some of the more recent advances that we gave to our customers, and we want to highlight this because there's a difference between the I-Series mPowers and the others. Basically, I want to take a quick step back and kind of explain why printers require maintenance, okay? There's a substance in the ink that is called titanium dioxide. Now, if you look around wherever you're at right now, anything that you see that's white most likely has titanium dioxide. It's the actual pigment. It's what makes the color that you want, right? Now, titanium dioxide has a few different issues, okay? First and foremost is that as soon as it comes in contact with air, it dries very, very quickly, which is why you can lay a white ink under base down and immediately put color on it without getting any swirling or anything like that, because it's drying almost instantaneously. Now, the best way I've been able to describe it is if anybody's ever had a bucket of paint that they left the top off of and you get the film on top, right? That's the reaction of titanium dioxide with the oxygen in the air, causing it to thicken and harden. So what we did is we sealed the entire printer. We sealed the inner workings of the machine. We sealed the cartridges. We even put seals around the tips of the print head to prevent any air contaminants from touching this ink until it's out onto the shirt. That helps tremendously with keeping a good, smooth ink flow going at all times and eliminating all the drying out of the printer. But that's not all. Titanium dioxide is also heavier than the rest of the ink that it's in, right? It's water-based ink, so it's heavier than water. It sinks. So if you let your printer sit too long, the ink will actually start to what we call separate, and it'll settle in the lines, right? It's kind of like a cement truck that stops spinning. It starts to settle and thicken and harden, and then boom, clogs, right? So what we did to prevent that is we put what we call our closed-loop ink delivery system. It's a closed-loop circulation delivery system, and every hour when the printer's not being used, there are pumps that engage that circulate the ink throughout the printer. It doesn't exit the printer, just circulates it throughout the printer. This keeps the ink mixed up and keeps it at the consistency that we need it to be at all times, which is why the Anajet and mPower are the only garment printers that don't require daily maintenance. okay? No other printer, every other printer out there has to be either used or require daily maintenance to keep it operational. The mPower doesn't. Now, in addition to that, in this latest iSeries and Advanced, we were able to install basically a quicker fill process. So when you get the printer and you put the ink in the sides of the cartridge, before it used to take you about 20 minutes, now it takes about 5 minutes. Okay. Better ink flow, which helps with better ink flow while printing and avoids any banding or dropout. We actually increased how many dampers there were. I don't want to get too technical, but essentially a damper is a reservoir that the printhead draws off of to put ink on the platen. Put more dampers, a bigger reservoir there means it has more ink to draw off of. That's essentially what it is. Improved print quality with even better color fidelity. That was a really big jump within our software. It's giving us ICC color profiles, which means essentially that if you want that certain brown, you're getting that certain brown. If you want that certain yellow, you're getting that certain yellow. Less ink and flush consumption when flushing and filling or normal maintenance routines equals lower cost of ownership. Again, like I was saying before, we're constantly trying to improve this printer. So when we identify, hey, you know what, if we do X, Y, and Z, we can reduce the amount of maintenance done on the printer by 20%. Well, then we do X, Y, and Z, and then we notify it, send it out to our customers. If we do, ABC, and we can speed up the fill process on the printer, well, then we speed up the fill process on the printer and send it over to you guys. So we're constantly trying to improve, constantly trying to make it better, constantly getting, taking it to the next level with this printer to be more efficient for our customers. Now, the mPower also is an industrial-grade commercial printer, okay? It's not a paper printer. It's not a modified Epson. It's not a plastic printer. This is a metal, stainless steel printer with more reliability and more durable components. Okay, we take a lot of painstaking effort to make sure that every component in there is rated to last the time it's supposed to be lasting. We've even gone so far as to replace little things within the printer to make it more reliable. Specifically with the iSeries, we added more reliable check valves. This helps with sustainable performance. It helps with regulating pressure within the printer. Okay, more reliable check valves means that your pressure is always where you need it to be. There's a maintenance station, right? That's where the printhead rests when it's not being used. We completely redesigned the maintenance station to improve its durability, to make sure that the motors and pumps and everything are working the way they're supposed to be working, and to create a more robust maintenance station, so you're not going to be replacing this particular component after 3-4 years. You're going to have something that lasts you 7 to 10 years. There's also a more robust wiper arm. Essentially, look at your windshield wipers. Essentially the same thing, but on a much smaller scale. We use a more robust and much thicker and stronger rubber to do it. Improved firmware for efficiency and ease of use, making it easier to operate, easier to understand. That's essentially what firmware is. Firmware tells the printer what to do and when to do it. Well, you tell the printer what to do, so we made the interface a lot easier to maneuver and get through. New improved efficiency clean routines. That goes back to what I was saying about the pumps and the circulation side of it. And then easier to use time startup fill options. Again, that goes back to what I was saying before, where we've reduced the time it takes to actually put ink in the printer when you first get it. There's also a new addition on our RIP software that it's called Superfine. And it's really best used for substrates like glass or wood, where it's not very absorbent. It prints in a much, much finer dot range, so that you can get a much higher DPI. So like I said before, we give you free lifetime software and firmware upgrades. Continue tradition of free training. And please, guys, for everybody that's listening, let's not gloss over this. I know I've said it before, but utilize the tools that we give you, okay? Every customer that comes in here that does the training and utilizes the technical support, if they have any questions, ends up becoming a pro at the printer and is making money hand over fist. The ones that don't utilize the training and it's free, which blows me away. Why wouldn't you want free training? If you don't utilize the training, you're going to end up having a learning curve of 3 to 6 months, and that instead of 3 to 6 weeks. And that 3 to 6 months, you might get so frustrated that you give up on it. Don't give up on it. Listen, use the tools and the training that we give you. It's there for a reason. You give me a full day training, either here or at your location, and anytime you have a question, regardless of if it's printer related, software related, whatever it might be, instead of trying to figure it out, call us up and let us walk you through it. Within a few weeks, you'll be a pro, and you won't ever have to call us again for anything. But you have to use the training that we give you. It's like you got to take a driver's test and learn how to drive before you drive a car. Same kind of thing. Take the time. Don't spend the kind of money that you have to spend to get a garment printer and not utilize the tools that are at your disposal. Like I said, free lifetime technical support. There's no hidden setup fees. What you get will get you what you need. Will do what you have to do. There's no mandatory site visit. You can set up and begin printing yourself right on the spot. But keep in mind it's available to you. And like I said, we can set it up right there for you and train you on the spot. So a couple new RIP features. These are kind of things that you'll be more impressed with and happy that you have when you actually have the printer versus the competitors that are out there. You can now accept more and different kinds of files, Adobe files, PNGs, TIFFs, JPEGs, anything like that. You can even remove colors within the RIP. You don't have to do it in your Photoshop or Illustrator or Corel, whatever you're using. It also has an ink cost calculator, so even before you send the print job or print the job, it'll tell you exactly how much ink is being used, so you can calculate what it's going to cost you and what you should charge because of it. You also have the ability to manipulate the brightness, the contrast, the saturation. There's that superfine mode that I mentioned. There's also an LCD preview actually on the printer, not on the computer, that will display what you're printing and where it's going to be printed and the mode in which it's being printed. You can also, it has 8 gigs of memory on it, so you can also have, you can store all your images on there. So if you have a lot of ones that are very popular, that are repeat kind of businesses, just keep them on there. No point in ripping them more than once, right? So let's look at production output. MP10 and MP5. And this is a good little graph because this will determine which printer you think is going to be the right one for you. White shirts take about 20 seconds on the 10, MP5 about 40 seconds. But most importantly, let's look at your per day or maybe even per month. That's your maximum production capability, right? If you find yourself doing, say, 200 shirts a week, right? Okay, 200 shirts a week, 200 to 500 shirts a week. That on the MP5 might take you, I'd say, I don't know, call it 3-4 hours to do those 200 shirts. Okay, on the MP10 it takes you, an hour and a half, 2 hours. So how much is your time? Is your time that important to you? So that's kind of the question that you have to answer yourself. The MP5 is crazy fast. The MP10 is twice as fast, though. So if you're going to be doing, if you think, hey, you know what, I may do a 400 shirt order on the printer. Well, 400 shirt order might take you 3-4 hours on the 10, but it's going to take you 6 to 8 hours on the 5. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these two specific models. There obviously is a price difference between the two, and that might be the ultimate deciding factor, but you might want to take a look and see if it might be truly worth it for you to get the MP10, or if the MP5 is more than capable to handle what you need. Okay, let's talk about the Sprint just real briefly. The Anajet Sprint is the top-selling direct garment printer in the entire industry. The Sprint's a great, great printer for people just getting their feet wet, new businesses. It's durable. It was first released in June 2009. There are more of them out there than any other garment printer made. It's reliable, incredibly reliable with routine maintenance. A little bit more maintenance than the mPower because it doesn't have the circulation system. Okay, Still has the closed loop system where it's everything's sealed off, but it doesn't have a circulation system. So you have to use it more frequently, every other day or so. Light and portable, and has a smaller footprint. It's only 3 feet by 3 feet. Has a faster ROI because it's not as costly as an investment to get in it. And customers have reported anywhere from weeks to 5 months. And you have the same quality that you can get on the mPower. So it'll do everything that you need it to do. Basically, here's the essentials of it. Compared to the mPower, it's a little slower, and you got to use it every other day or so. You let it sit for a couple days, like over the weekend or something, but make sure you use it that Monday morning. Get it started. Here's some print speeds you can take a look at. White shirts take typically about 60 to 90 seconds. Dark shirts about 2 to 3 minutes. Like I said, it's a little bit slower than the mPower. Per day, per month, per year, light shirts, dark shirts, and all these speeds, in fact, the speeds even on the previous slide were all done by SGIA, not by Anajet. We try to do a lot of third-party stuff so you don't think we're just throwing random numbers at you. These are actually what the numbers they've come up with and what they expect the production to be on the printer. You can actually even go to their website, sgaa.org, and get access to what they call the Digital Equipment Evaluation Reports, the DEE reports, which breaks down pretty much every printer in the market and what its true printing capabilities are. Okay, let's talk about cost. Fully loaded cost of a printed white shirt. Now, another thing, we got this from a customer. Okay, we didn't put this, he put this together. And we always are conservative with our estimates. Okay, we try to err on the side of caution and make it high, right? So a fully loaded cost of a printed white shirt is $2 to $3, depending on the blank type, graphic size, etc. There's a retail price of anywhere from $15 to $18, with a gross profit of $12 per shirt. Now, if you had a gross profit of $12 per shirt, that would mean on a sprint it would take 1,500 shirts, MP5 2,500, MP10 3,500, with a production capacity of 20 to 200,000 shirts per year. You know, we put down here the key to success: quality, output, volume, and efficient production. You know, absolutely, of course. And this is from Creative Promotions, and he averages about $12 per shirt in gross profit, which is pretty substantial. I mean, if you really think about something that costs you $3 to make, you're making 400% back on your return on your investment. That's pretty impressive. But even call it $8 per shirt, gross profit. You're still, what, 250%, margin there? I mean, it's just ridiculous. There's very few industries that you can get involved in that have that type of low initial cost to produce that give you that type of return. So even if you did, because you're going to have some customers that you're going to undercut, right? That you're not going to charge their max, and you'll have some customers that you get a little bit higher margin from, and so on and so on. So be aware of that, and kind of average it out. But you know, don't turn that stuff away either, because really it's only costing $2-3. Even if somebody came in and said they wanted 200 shirts for $6 a piece, I would do that in a heartbeat. I would make $3 per shirt. I just made $600, and maybe it took me 4 hours to do it. $150 an hour. It's not bad. Here's a customer testimonial from Landau, Henry Landau. Actually, he has a retail shop in Princeton. He grossed $250,000 in 17 months with his printer. With the Sprint, it took him approximately 5 months to achieve ROI. He couldn't pay us to replace this machine until we came out with the MP5i, which he bought. And they printed over 2,000 shirts since receiving the new I-Series printer 3 weeks ago. Now, this is back in September. Yeah, there was a quick update. Okay, I'm glad they put that there. It was in the red. As of a conversation on September 3rd, so last month, he had grossed $70,000 in the last 2 months with a 70% margin. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. He's moving a lot of product. Here's Creative Promotions. They finished their full production run on a MP5, and they ran 250,000 of the attached graphic. That's that little flower shirt, flower heart shirt you see there with butterflies. They had a 0% fallout rate, which is pretty impressive. Think about that for a second. Out of 250 shirts printed, all 250 shirts came out as designed. That type of consistency is, for all those that aren't aware, that type of consistency was almost impossible until the mPower came out. The ink was 19 cents. So he was all in $1.45 for a shirt, 19 cents worth of ink at $10 per hour. He has a bunch of after-school kids come in, high school kids come in and operate the printer. He had 20 cents in labor per shirt, so a total cost of $1.84 per shirt with a resale of $13, gave him a profit of $11.16 times 250, so he profited it $2,790 on that one job of 250 shirts. And he made basically, how long did it say it took him? 5 hours. 5 divided by $27.90. So he made $500 an hour profit. I mean, that's lawyer money. If I did that 5 days a week, it would generate $725,000 in profit. We're printing so fast we need to bring in another heat press. Eastern Shore is one of my customers, Andy. He's been in the industry since 1989. He mostly does stuff in Cape Charles. He doesn't really have a wide net that he casts other than his local town, which is only a population of 1,200 people. He's been in the sign industry, so he's built up a good business with that, and then he brought in the MP5, upgraded to the MP10 in late 2012, and he mentioned that overnight the Anajet printer caused a 35% increase in all business because he used the printer as a sample machine and gave it to all his current customers, and that drove shirt business. In June of 2012, he had $21,000 in total sales on his Anajet. IHS Printing, which is a local guy that's right around the corner from us, has had the MP10 and pretty much every other printer we've manufactured, and he said it's improved his productivity tenfold, so much that we had to buy more heat presses just to keep up. Okay, Inksoft. So like I said, the internet is a giant mall. You got to have a web presence. Well, starting a website can cost a lot of money, especially doing one that's really easy to use and looks like a legitimate website, right? Like when you go to Yahoo and you see how easy it is to navigate that website or any other website that you really like. Those are expensive, up to $25,000, $30,000 to do that kind of thing. Well, we teamed up with a company called Inksoft, and essentially what they do is they create a website for you where your customers can go online, design their own shirts, upload their own graphics, and send the job directly through you through your website. It's an online t-shirt designer. There's also about 7,000 pieces of clip art that vary depending on, if they're related to football or firefighting, whatever it might be, that they can actually pick from and design their own shirt and send a job to you. We set you up with this website. The licensing fee and the website development is $1,000. Anajet pays for it. There is a monthly fee of $149 to keep the website up, to handle the bandwidth and things of that nature. You pay that $149 as you keep this website going. It's a really awesome tool that you can use, that you can get out to your customers. And I highly recommend that you take advantage of this because you'll pick up stuff outside of even your general area. You got to have a good web presence. And even if you're working out of your house, if somebody goes to your website and sees that type of efficiency and that type of platform and ease of use, they're going to think that your company is bigger than it might be, and they're going to have more faith in placing orders. You don't want to ever send anybody to a website that isn't put together and perfect, right? I mean, think about how you guys first looked at Anajet. I guarantee the first thing you did was go to our website. Same thing what people will do when they look for information on you. Okay, let's do some Q&As. There's a couple different boxes you can type in. There's also a private message box you can type to me directly. But go ahead and shoot over some questions, and I'll make sure that I get them. Oh, just on a quick side note, for everybody that signed up today to this webinar, contact your regional manager or the person that you're talking to here. You get a special promotional pricing because of your attendance on this webinar. You actually can help make yourself save yourself a good amount of money. I think that saving is somewhere around $5,000 or so. All right, first things first, printer price. Good question. The EMBROIDERY Sprint is $18,450 or somewhere around a $350 payment. The mPower 5 is $29,950 or somewhere in the range of a $530 payment. And the mPower 10 is $39,950 or a payment somewhere about $750 a month. Okay. We also just opened up, just if you guys are curious about financing, we've been able to expand the type of people that we can qualify. You don't have to be in business for 2 years anymore. You don't even have to own a home like you used to. You can get into this and not really have to worry about meeting all these outrageous requirements. Ink price, good question. Good question, Bill. Ink price is $65 for the cyan, magenta, yellow, and black 220 milliliter carts, and $75 for the white ink 220 milliliter carts. There's 6 cartridges on the side of the printer. A full set is about $410, and you can get about, I would say conservatively, 500 to 600 shirts out of that full set. Typical ink prices, like we were going in the back on a cost per print, 12 by 12 graphic is about 20 cents for a light shirt and about 75 cents for a dark garment because you have the white ink and then the color on top. All right, let's see. Pre-treatment. Okay. Pre-treatment is essentially a primer for paint. Okay. Think about when you're going to paint a wall in your house. You put a primer coat down. Then whatever paint you put on, nice and vibrant, kind of jumps off the wall. That's essentially what pre-treatment does to the white ink. You only have to use it where you're printing and only when you're using white ink. And what it does is it makes the white ink just jump off the shirt. Okay, it makes it very vibrant, makes it so that when you want that solid, bright white, it's there. There's a couple different ways to apply it. There's pre-treatment machines, which take all the makes it easy, essentially. There's a Wagner spray gun, which is just a paint sprayer that people would spray their house, paint their house with. That seems to be the most common way. Takes a little bit of getting used to. Find that a lot of people pick it up first day, no problem. Some people struggle with consistency. Then last but not least, there's been some companies that have come out that have decided to offer completely 100% pre-treated shirts. Be happy to send you out their information. DTGready.com is one of them. DTGready.com. You can buy pre-treated shirts. It's just, the way things are trending, I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 years everybody that sells shirts has an option for buying pre-treated ones as well. Okay, hats. Yeah. Brian, we can print on hats as well. Yeah. We have a hat attachment for the mPower. Kind of cool. Makes some pretty cool prints. Design your own stuff. Absolutely. So we can send you some more information on that too if you'd like. What kind of discount? The discount is. We try to tailor it to your needs, but I think it's like a $5,000 discount, and all you can take the full $5,000 off. Just call your contact here, and they'll put you in contact. They'll break it all down for you. We have business in a box packages too that come with everything you need to hit the ground running, and because you signed up the webinar, you get a lot of that stuff for free. Okay, let's see. All right. Did that one. Pre-treat already covered. Let's see. Computer programs. So like I said, you get the software. The RIP software comes with the printer. But if you're comfortable with any graphic software, they all work. It's Corel, Photoshop, Illustrator. All are use them. Whatever you feel comfortable with. I hate to make it sound too simple, but it's a printer. You got a print function, you can print. So that's what it's there for. Let's see. Oh, platen height. Yeah, platen size. So on the mPower, it's 18 by 14, and on the Sprint, it's 16 by 12.5, which is 16 by 12.5 is still more than enough. We made it a little bit bigger on the mPower, so you could do some bigger prints. We do have youth tables. We do have sleeve tables, yes, so that you can print on different parts of the shirt, not just on the fronts and backs. You can do the sides, shoulder. You can print really anywhere you want. And that looks like it's it. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for jumping on today. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any immediate questions that I can help answer, please feel free to email me. It's my first initial A, last name Tipre @anajet.com. You're welcome to contact me directly if you have any questions. I really do appreciate everybody jumping on. If there's anything that I can do to help you, let me know. I hope this was informative for you. If we didn't get to all the questions or everything, like I said, don't hesitate to call me. But thanks so much for jumping on, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.